Good evening to all of you. We'd like to welcome you back again from People's School Way of Thought Social Program. My name is Htet, and I'll be moderator for today's discussion. Today, we'll be discussing and about what is Sagaing Forum, where is it going? On the 30th and 31st of May 2023, Sagaing Forum was held, and there has been a lot of media coverage about the Sagaing Forum. And Sagaing Forum was organized successfully with 173 revolutionary organizations from 28 townships in the Sagaing region. And the objective is to be able to have a better coordination among the revolutionary forces, and that it has also have generated a lot of interest among those revolutionary supporters as well as the people of Myanmar about the Sagaing Forum, and that's why we are organizing today's panel discussion with the particular topic on Sagaing Forum. We have invited Ko So Win Sui, Phyoe, and Miss Chaw. They all three of them are the revolutionary activists who are also based in the Sagaing region. They have participated in the Sagaing Forum, and they also will be the spokesperson. However, but Chaw has internet connectivity issues, so we'll be waiting for her so that she can join in and participate in the discussion. I would like to invite the speakers, and then we start the panel discussion. So today, while we discuss that we have invited the speakers who are from the Sagaing region and Sagaing Forum, but they will not be discussing here as a spokesperson of the Sagaing Forum, but they will be sharing their own personal opinion and personal perspectives on the Sagaing Forum as well, because in that there has been a lot of media interviews and coverage about the Sagaing Forum. So here we'll not be looking into the spokespersons or the Sagaing Forum organizer, but here we'll be looking into people's own perspective and opinions about the Sagaing Forum. So that's what we'll be doing that. So I would like to start with the Ko So Win Sui. That a lot of people have, there has been a lot of online coverage about the Sagaing Forum, but I would like to check with you how was the Sagaing Forum organized, and what are your personal expectations of the Sagaing Forum? So Sui, can you start the discussion, please? Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. My name is So Win Sui, a revolutionary fighter from Sagaing region. The Sagaing Forum, was convened. That I would like to share with you a little about how we have convened the Sagaing Forum. First, I would like to give you an update on the Sagaing updates of the revolution in the Sagaing region. The Sagaing region has been very strongly. We have participated a lot on the demonstrations, and that demonstration that strikes on the ground. So that we have above ground movement where people are demonstrating in different parts of the Sagaing region. It also is going strong as well. In terms of armed resistance, Sagaing also is a strong region for that as well. However, in our region, politically, we don't have yet a political consolidation. We think it is weak in terms of political consolidation. So that's what we have done. That we look at all the political entities, political actors, so that we bring together to work together as well as. So we also want to establish We also want to establish a regional consolidated council like other states and region have done. Then if we can establish such a political platform, then it will be better for us to move forward with the revolution. So since November of 2022, we have started to rally for the establishment of such a regional political platform to establish a regional consolidated council. So it was the movement started with the dialogue and discussion among about 30 of the revolutionary forces in Sagaing region. However, to be able to represent the entirety of the Sagaing region, the whole of the Sagaing region, that organizers committee alone is not enough. Our own so it is important to organize a revolutionary congress or a forum where all the people of the Sagaing region will be able to discuss what are our expectations from the revolution, what are our difficulties and challenges, and that so that if we can do that, it will also be more broader, it will also be more inclusive. So that was the idea behind. So we have a like a temporary there's a guy that has a guy consultative committee, organizing committee, and this committee became the organizers, and we have convened the Sagaing Forum. The Sagaing Forum is from the Sagaing Forum. What we expected is that we hope the Sagaing region to have a political establishment, because Sagaing is very strong in the revolution. But however, on the revolutionary platform, our voice is not strong, or that it's not being heard of. And when we make decisions about the Sagaing region, and that it is also important the participation, that we think that the participation of the revolutionary Sagaing forces are also still weak as well. So that if we can form like a new revolutionary platform, that we will be able to do better. That we also, the idea also is that we can also do better after, not only during the revolution but also beyond the revolution as well. So for this reason, we are organizing the Sagaing Forum. So I would like to follow up Machosu Sam with a question. So you can please answer based on your own perspective as well. So that how do you see the importance of Sagaing Forum, and what are your what do you think will be the way forward to after the Sagaing Forum? Thank you for the question. I'm so a member of the organizing committee, and that so I'm also part of the strike committees of the Sagaing region. That upon the establishment of the Sagaing Forum, that so that I think we also have individual expectations as well as on the objective of the Sagaing Forum as well. That I think as organizing the forum is important and is useful as well, because the one thing we can do is that with the Sagaing Forum is we're able to reach the reality that all the revolutionary forces of the Sagaing region are working together, and we are forging ahead in this revolution. So that no, Sagaing also is Sagaing, and the Upper Myanmar is the area where we have faced the most of the violence and oppression of the military hunter. In the Sagaing region, the revolution is strong. At the same time, we have with the strong resistance movement, we are also facing also a higher degree of oppression and violence from the military as well. So it is important for us to consolidate our strength, and that our coordination that for the way forward. It's not easy. It's not easy. So there are many revolutionary organizations in Sagaing actively participate in the armed resistance, but here we bring them together. We share our perspective, we share our opinions, and that this way we are able to exchange with each other, and that's a great opportunity. We're able to consolidate, we're able to bring forces together as well. So that for my expedition from the Beyond the Sky Forum, or how we see it is that that means there is a lot of space for us to grow, a lot of space to be for us to try harder, because this forum, as it has been discussed, this forum can be considered as the first step towards that regional consultative council. So we are trying this, and that through this forum, we're able to bring together different revolutionary forces in the Sagaing region, and this way that will also create a better situation, a better context in the Sagaing region. And that I think we are not Sagaing Forum or the Sagaing Revolutionary Forces are not standing as a one individual or a singular organization, but the idea is by collectively working together to strengthen the revolutionary movement. All the revolutionary forces in Sagaing to consolidate, to work together, to fight together, and to work together in the future. And that's the context that we have created by convening the Sagaing Forum. Thank you. So the point that you have made is that it's a building unity and a collaboration among different revolutionary forces. I have noted this. Thank you. I would like to continue the question with the Khant. Why was the Sagaing Forum organized, and what do you what are your what do you expect now that this forum has been organized? Yes, that I think others also have shared about the why we have convened the Sagaing Forum. For us, the way we see how we saw the Sagaing Forum, how we approach the Sagaing Forum, let me explain a little bit. That that people of Myanmar are participating in this revolution, in this Spring Revolution for further democracy. In Myanmar, we need to exercise federalism. It is also important to maintain the momentum of our revolution while we are building towards federalism. Please bear with us for a minute. One of the speakers might have lost internet connection. Oh, he's back. It is also important for us to prepare for the federalism as well. That was the idea in terms of approach. Our approach is based on the current territorial demarcations, and we just want to make sure that it is inclusive and participatory. And we have lost him again. Please wait. So that's why we have decided that we shall convene Sagaing Forum. So within the territory of the Sagaing region, this is our basis, and based on that, we approach it. But this is not something set in stone. We cannot, we cannot adhere to that because it also needs the Sagaing Forum. Convening such a forum needs to reflect the voice of the people, the will of the people, and we also need to take into consideration the will and the interest of the ethnic communities and minorities in our area. So right now, to make it practical and to be able to convene the session, our approach is based on the current territories of territorial demarcation of the Sagaing region, and we invited all the organizations to active in it. There are also in the forum in the future we will be inviting the parliamentarians as well as on the as well as that like a CRPH and that and also for the Sagaing region and parliaments as well as on other revolutionary organizations, so that we'll be able to have a coverage and representation from across the region. Thank you. I will follow up with another question to you. That you had said that so it is the idea is that the approach is based on the federalism and the territory based on current demarcation, current territorial designation. Because often in Myanmar, when we talk about the federalism, we talk about the federalism based on ethnicity or ethnic community. So what about now that Sagaing is thinking about the based on the current territories of Sagaing region? What do you think the Sagaing consideration and Sagaing approach? Will it have an impact on other states and region? The fact that this dialogue is taking place in Sagaing, and are you also engaging with other states and region? How do you reflect on the other states and region?
Like I said earlier, it is based on the federalism. It's based on geographical or like ethnic cities. So it's not just only me, but then like we have been discussing with the people, and then we will have to ask the will of the people, and then do this. Right now, we are in the revolution practically, and then this is right now based on the revolution. So in other activities, how we are going to do with other states and region, but then I will we do this like Anya Forum, like Magwe, Mandalay, and then we might have to talk to them as well, and then if it is like that, then it will be time consuming, and then when the revolution is a quick momentum, and it will also have some limitations. And therefore, um, other states and regions, if we have to talk to them, communicate with them within the Sagaing region, like though there are organizations working on revolution, and then what are the expectations of these organizations within Sagaing is also kind of like very difficult to know as well. So we need a meeting point, a platform in order for us to be able to talk to, and then the Guide Forum will kind of like let this kind of talk, this dialogue, and after that we might have like some political expectations, and based on these expectations, and um, with other states and regions, and with other ethnicities, how the federal unit will be able to discuss, and then in order for us not to make it like kind of like wide and not effective, and we will kind of keep the momentum of the revolution, and why going at the same time our region in order to cover it a whole, what are the expectations of our region. So based on that, how are we going to go in which direction? And in the Sagaing region, like this is the majority are Burmese people living in this region, but then other ethnic cities like Red Shan, and then other like Naga and other people are staying here as well. So these ethnicities, in order for them to be part of this, if we can approach, if we have could do this together, and right now the Guide Forum will be effective. This is what we are seeing. But then we have seen that they are part of it, the ethnicities are part of it, but then so far we have not been seen that the representatives of these ethnic cities are yet to be part of it. So we will listen to the people, and then we'll listen to these ethnic cities, but then that it is a good thing like to have this such kinds of such this platform. So let me go to Macho Susan. I would like to ask Macho Susan. Recently, you just talked about that in this revolution, it is better kind of like to cooperate, to coordinate, and work on this. Everybody talks about this, and then it's kind of like quite difficult to do so. And then within this 1 year, 2 year period, we have seen already about this, and then the Guide Forum as you have like the regional kind of like counseling bodies, but then in this region, then so how do you want to do this in your own opinion? What would you say about this? Machosu's connection is interrupted right now. So let me go back to Gosong about the previous, in order to be able to work together. Is Chosusan is back? Machosusan, can you kind of like speak now? So let me go back to Gosong Sui turns, and then earlier in the process further, and how are we going to do in order to do this? And then in Sagaing, there are different forces as well. And then we have like different ways of working. And in this, in order to be like this, like what kind of barriers that we need to overcome? So how do we go forward? And we have two ways that we are thinking about. And the first one is everyone to be inclusive, part of it. And then we have opened the ways to it. And then in the first forum, when we are doing so, we have heard the feedback as well. Like people say, we do not know about this. We are from Sagaing region as well. Why we are not invited? So this kind of things we have heard about this as well. And we have opened our ways like to everybody. We do not. We have only one limitation. It is that when we have like the revolution forces, and then we have also the federal charter. Those who are in belief of this, we want them to come together, and then like this is going to be going forward like this. And so when we are doing this, we have a lot of explanation to do as well, like the revolutionary process in the regions. There could be people who do not know about it. We do understand about this as well because it is the first time, so there might be a lot of things needed as well from our side. So from our side, what happened is that so when we are going to do the forum, then like the forum dates whether we are going to do this openly, and then like if we do that, then there could be a lot of disturbances that we are facing. Even the first time like the forum, maybe that we might not be able to do it. So this is our concern on the other hand. And then when we are in connection with on the ground forces, everybody knows there are in the Gain region, there are town villages where they do not have mobile connection, internet connection, and then we have to start from where we could reach. And in order to communicate with mobile phone is even difficult. And in order to ask a leader like to speak, then we have in order like we have to call them several times in order to get the telephone numbers, then it is quite difficult. We have changed numbers very frequently. When you get the numbers, you call them, then there is no connection. And then when they are not there, they call it, they are in the battlefield, and then they could not be able to speak to. So the connection, the communication during that period is quite difficult, and everybody on the ground knows about this. It is therefore so we have put a lot of effort in communicating. And there's another thing is a security issues. So like there are organizations who you work with closely. If there are like revolution forces that are far from you, you know only the name, you don't know the leaders. So this is kind of like very relevant and realistic in this kind of revolution period. Like maybe they are among the people and they could be the leaders, but then they might not be known by those who work with them closely. So this is about the security issues. You have to be very confidential on these issues, and therefore, like which who is who is where, and then like this is kind of like difficult information to get. So this is what we have issues. So in order for everyone to be part of it, to be inclusive, then for the first time, it is not easy for everyone to be part of it. On the second time, on the third time, in order for people to participate, then we work our effort, more effort in order for that. And only everyone is there and then we start, then when are we going to get everybody in that one city? So we have to hold these two ways at the same time. One way is that we open us for everybody to participate, and then if we are waiting for everybody to be in this, then in order for everyone to be in this, it will be quite a challenge. Even when the country is peaceful, when you are doing the election, the election is done by the state budget, then it is not that you can do it in like at one time. like there are places where election cannot be held. So in order for everyone to be all inclusive, it is very good in theory, but then in reality, it is quite challenging. So on the other hand, we kind of like welcome everyone, and then on the other hand, we will start with those who we have. Only when we can start like this, then we'll be able to implement it. It will work out. And so we will start with everyone, and then like this is going to be the discussions of those who have attended. And then in the future forum, we might have new participants, and then the previous discussions will also kind of like discuss again, and we might have new results. We have this kind of things. So this is about the challenges, difficulties preparing for this forum, and then I would like to share with you about this. So it is two part, and you welcome everybody, and there's the other on the other side. You're starting with those who have come to participate. Thank you for the explanation. Let me get back to Macho Susan, and in Sagaing Forum, in right now in the revolution forces in the Sagaing region in order to work together with them and in order to go to the kind of like advisory reporting. What is the what is the challenges? What are the difficulties? Like many people wanted to know, and then like it is also challenging. And what is the most challenging things here? So in the way forward, there are a lot of challenges that we are seeing. What we can face is that it's about trust building, and uh, so in the trust building among the group, and so there are a lot of groups there, and um, groups, maybe like demonstration groups, political groups. There are many groups there, and then we will be working on this. But and when they are part of it, and it's very uh, important that are part of it and trust each other and go forward. So the trust building is very important right now. We, in this forum, there are people who give feedback who could not be part of it. Like these people are doing this, that this kind of misunderstanding. So among our groups, among our organization, like in order to be part of it, in order to build trust, then this is kind of like important. And then for organizations to be part of it, this is also another challenge. Like Kosovo's so also discussed about this as well. In the Sagaing region, there are many groups, there are many revolution groups, and then there are name one, there are not name one, and then in the Sagaing region, the communication is too difficult, and therefore, in order for all the groups to be part of it, to try this is quite challenging, and for all the groups to come to one place is quite difficult. And I see this as a challenge. This is like challenges on the ground, and the other thing is that um, is a guy region when we are working on this resolution, frankly speaking. So like you wanted to do it on your own. This kind of opinion is also ongoing. So there could be challenges, but then these challenges in the forum when more groups are part of it, and then so so we will have this and then this forum doing what they are doing, but then this forum is aiming to implement the will of the people. So this is what I would like to say.
ဘူးနော်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒါပဲကျွန်တော်ဖြတ်တန်းနေရတာဟိုတော်နိုင်ဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ဆက်ပြီးတော့ကိုခန့်ရင်ဖြိုမေးချင်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ကိုခန့်ရင်ဖြိုတော့ဒီအာကျွန်တော်ဒီလက်ရှိစကိုင်းပုံနဲ့ဖြစ်လာတဲ့ပုံစံ
So
ကို
come with you. I just wanted to talk to you, and then like in NUCC, in NUCC, you are part of it, and then for in NUCC, we have expected a lot, and then in the sacred charter, we have the sacred charter, and then it's kind of like becoming like the law, and from there we could have taken a number of lessons learned too, and so everyone would be part of it, and then we will be discussing about this, and we may have also different opinions and different points of view, and how do we make decisions in NGCC? How are we going to decide? It's kind of like difficult to make decisions. If something is going to be decided, then they could not get to a conclusion. So in the Vine as well, can this become an issue? If the system is kind of like quite restricted, then like there might not be a lot to be part of it. Then from dialogue space to the advice voting would be kind of like difficult. So this is something that everybody needs to consider. So what is your opinion? What is your point of view? How are you going to steer about this? So
အဓိကကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းဒီ
the
NUCC meeting
in
တွေမှာတက်
the
တယ်
NUCC
NUCC
meeting,
ထဲမှာပါပေါ့နော်အဲ့အတွက်
I
ကျွန်
have
တော်တို့
been
ကျွန်
part
တော်
of
ပါ
it
ဝင်
as
ဒီ
well,
NUCC ထဲမှာနေတဲ့
and
ဒီလူငယ်တွေပေါ့ဗျာဒါတော့သူ
young
တို့ဒီ
people
ခံ
in
စား
the
ချက်ရှိပေါ့နော်အဲ
NUCC,
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီညှို့လင့်ထားတဲ့ပုံစံအတိုင်း
our
NUCC ကဖြစ်မလား
expectation,
ဒါလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီနိုင်ငံ
NUCC
ရေးကိုဆောင်ရွက်တာ
has
တစ်ခု
not
ပေါ့
become
ဒီ
as it is.
ကျွန်တော်ဒီတော်လန်ရေးကိုမူရလဲ
So
လုပ်ဆောင်နိုင်ကျွန်တော်ဒီမျိုးသမီးမျိုးရေးအစိုးရကိုကြောင်းနိုင်တာ
it's,
လို့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ
can
ပြောစ
we
ရာ
be
ပြီး
there?
ပြီးတော့နောက်တစ်ခုက
Then
ဒီ
like
နိုင်ငံ
cannot
ရေး
become, and
သ
then
ဘောတူ
in
ညီချက်တွေရလာဆိုလဲ
like
ကျွန်တော်တို့
there
ရဲ့
is
ဒီ
like political
ဆွေးနွေး
agreement
တဲ့ပုံစံကိုကျွန်တော်ကဒီ
in our
အားလုံး
discussions
သဘောတူညီချက်နဲ့သွား
where
တယ်စု
everybody
ပွဲတစ်ခု
has
မှာ
been
သဘောမတူ
centered
ဘူးဆိုရင်
to
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘာ
like
ကိစ္စနဲ့ကျွန်တော်ဆိုင်းထားလိုက်လို့ရပန်းဒီလောက်ထားလိုက်လို့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲဒါ
why
က
can we have like a
တစ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာတွေ
differ
deadlock ဖြစ်သွားတဲ့ဟာတွေက
issues,
ဒီလိုမျိုးပုံ
and
စံမျိုး
then
ဖြစ်တာပေါ့နော်
like
ဒီ
the
ပေါ်မှာက
deadlock
ကျွန်တော်ဒီ
issues are
Sagaing
like
forum
this,
ဖြစ်
and
မြောက်ရေးပေါ့နော်
therefore
ဒီဇုံကကျွန်တော်ဒီ
in the Sky Forum,
ဒီဖြစ်မြောက်ရေးတဲ့မှာကျွန်တော်လည်းပါတယ်ဒီ NUCC
I was part
မြန်မာ
of
နိုင်ငံလုံး
it,
ဆိုင်ရာ
and
ဆက်ဆံမှု
then
များဖွဲ့ချုပ်ကိုကို
so
ကို
I
ရတယောက်လည်းပါတယ်ပေါ့ဗျာအဲ့တော့ပါတော့
was
ကျွန်တော်တို့က
representing
NUCC ရဲ့
Myanmar
လေ့
Teachers
လာ
Association,
လေ့လာ
and
ထားလည်းရှိတယ်အဲ့လိုပဲကျွန်တော်တို့က
I have
ကျွန်တော်
also
တို့ရဲ့ဒီ
studied what is
ဖြစ်
going
မြောက်ရေး
on
အစ
with
ည်းအဝေးမှာဆို
NUCC
ကျွန်တော်ဒီ
as
တိုင်းရင်း
well.
သား
And then in
အဖွဲ့
the
အစည်းပေါ့နော်
formation
ဒီက
meeting,
ကျွန်တော်တို့
we have
ဒီ
like
ခေါ်လို့တက်နေနားထောင်တာဒီလေ့လာတာဒီလုပ်တာ
ethics.
ကျွန်တော်တစ်ဖက်မှာကြောက်လေဒီဖွဲ့စ
And
ည်းသားပြီး
on
တဲ့အ
the
တိုင်း
other
ဖြစ်
hand,
ဖြစ်လားမဖြစ်လားသူတို့ဘယ်လိုပုံ
whether
စံတွေ
the
လုပ်လဲကျွန်တော်
advisory
လည်းလေ့
bodies
လာ
of
လေ့
different
လာအဲ့
states
တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့က
actually we are also studying about this
ကျွန်တော်
as
တို့တစ်ဖက်
well.
မှာလည်း
And
ဒီ
what
အားလုံးပါ
happened
ဝင်နို
is
င်တဲ့
that
ခံ
on
အခ
the
င်းအကျင်း
other
ကိုကျွန်တော်ဖန်
side,
တီးပေးဖို့လိုတယ်အဲ့လိုအခင်း
we
အကျင်း
might
ကို
be
ဖန်တီးဖို့
able
အတွက်
to
ကျွန်တော်တို့တစ်ဖက်မှာ
create
ပါ
a
ဝင်ဖို့လိုတယ်
platform where everybody is
တော်လှန်
part
ရေး
of
မှာ
it.
မြေပြင်
And
မှာ
on the
ရှိတ
other
ယ်
hand,
အဲ့
what
ကျွန်
you
တော်
have
တို့
to
ဒီ
do
မြေ
is
ပြင်
that the
အကျိုး
revolution is
ပြု
on the
နိုင်အောင်
ground.
တစ်ဖက်အကျိုးသက်
So
ရောက်မှုရှိအောင်ကျွန်တော်
like
တို့ဒီ
in
လှုပ်
order
လာတဲ့
for
အ
the
စု
on
အဖွဲ့
the
က
ground
ရှုံးနိမ့်ရတဲ့
impact to be
ဒီ
impacted,
မြေပြင်
and
အရွေ့တွေကိုလုပ်နိုင်တဲ့ဟာတကယ်အလုပ်ဖြစ်
so
တဲ့အဖွဲ့အစည်း
we
ဖြစ်ဖို့
should
လို
be
တယ်ပေါ့ဗျာ
able
ဒါ
to
အဲ့နှစ်ခု
do
ကြားထဲ
the
မှာကျွန်တော်တို့က
impact
ချိန်ညှိ
on
ပြီး
the
တော့
ground.
သွားရ
So
မှာ
we
ပေါ့
have to balance
ပေါ့
among
နော်အဲ့
them
မှာဆိုဥမာကျွန်တော်တို့က
and
ဒီလောလောဆယ်အနေ
have
အထာ
to
အရ
think
ဘယ်
about
ဘယ်
this
အဖွဲ့အ
right
စည်းနဲ့ကျွန်
now.
တော်တို့တိုင်းတွင်းမှာခြေစိုက်ပြီးတော့
Which
တော်လှန်နေတဲ့
organization
တပည့်
is safe
ကျွန်တော်ဒီ
in
လ
the
န်ဒက်ကိုင်တော်
region
လှန်ရေးအင်
and
အားစု
then
တွေပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်
working,
ကျွန်တော်ဒီလွှတ်တော်ကိုယ်
whether
စားလှယ်
they
တွေပဲ
are
ဖြစ်ဖြစ်
armed groups,
ဒါတွေပဲ
whether
ဖြစ်
they
ဖြစ်ဒီလို
are
ပဲ
like
တစ်ခါနယ်မြေတိုင်းရ
representative
င်းသားဒေသ
groups,
စုတွေပဲ
and
ဖြစ်ဖြစ်
then
ဒါတွေအတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့လှုပ်လန်းပေးပြီး
whether
တော့ဒီ
ethnicity
all
groups,
in
we
all အနေနဲ့
kind
ကျွန်
of
တော်တို့
like
ကဖက်ဖက်
welcome
ပေါင်းစုံစုစ
everybody,
ည်းပြီးတော့
and then we
platform
are
တစ်ခု
trying
ဖြစ်
to
ဖို့ဆိုရင်ကျွန်
create
တော်
a
တို့
platform that
ဖွင့်ပေးပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်
inclusive
ဒီ
of all.
တိုင်းနိုင်ငံကောင်းကြီး
And
ပဲပြောပြောပေါင်းဆက်ညီရန်တရားပဲပြောပြောပေါ့ဗျာ
whether you
ဒါမှ
are
မဟုတ်
going
ရင်
to
တော့ကျွန်တော်
say
အလုပ်
like
ဖြစ်
the
နိုင်တဲ့
advice
ပုံစံကို
body
ကျွန်တော်
or
စ
the
ပြီးတော့ train ချ
coordination
ဖို့လိုတယ်
body,
နောက်တစ်ခုကကျ
then
ကျွန်တော်
we
တို့
have the
position ပေါ့ဗျာ
framework
ဆုံးဖြတ်
in
တဲ့နေရာ
order
မှာ
to
ကျွန်တော်တို့
make
ဘယ်လို
it
ပုံစံနဲ့
work.
ဆုံးဖြတ်
And then the decision
တို့
making decisions.
အာ
How are we
ပုံ
going
စံ
to do the
ဖို့လိုတယ်
decisions?
ပေါ့နော်အဲ့မှာ
First,
ကျွန်
at
တော်
the
တို့အပ
able to have a clear understanding of it. The main challenges on this, but we are doing the forum, but then the advisory board that if we have the forces like like representative that have legitimacy, if they are not part of, we might have to talk to them, and then this is like the challenge. So the region um, advisory board, how are we going to form it? Like NUG,
implementation body တွေသူတို့မရှိသေးဘူးအရင်မရှိသေးဘူးပေါ့ဗျာ
right now they do not have
Sagaing Forum လုပ်တဲ့
comprehensive
အခါကျတော့
body
မြေ
and
ပြင်မှာ
then
လည်း
the Sky
ဒေသခံ
Forum.
အစိုးရရဲ့ဒီပြည်သူ့အုပ်ချုပ်
So
ရေး
we have
ပြည်သူ့ကာကွယ်ရေး
NUG
ပေါ့
public
အမှတ်1စစ်ဒေသ
administration
ရဲ့ရင်းတပ်ဖွဲ့
kind
ဒီ
of
တရားလည်းကျွန်တော်
in
ပြည်
the
ပြင်မှာ
same
နေရှိတယ်
they
အ
are
ချိန်မှာ
they
ကျွန်တော်
are
ပြည်
in
မှာလည်း
place.
ဒီရန်တရား
Some
တွေရှိ
villages,
တ
these
ကယ်သူ
mechanisms
ချို့နေရာ
are
တွေ
in
ဆိုတကယ်
place as well,
ကျွန်တော်
and
ခုရွာ
then
ကဒီ local
some of
PDF
the
တွေကနေ
villages
ပြုတ်ထားတဲ့
as
နေရာ
well,
တွေလည်းရှိတယ်
and
ပေါ့
then
အဲ့
there
ဒီနေရာတွေက
are
မူတည်ပြီး
places
တော့
where local
ကျွန်တော်
people
တို့က
are
ဒီတိုင်းတိုင်
controlling.
ပင်
So
ကောင်
based
ကောင်
on
စီ
that,
ဖွဲ့ထား
the
ဖို့အကြစဉ်းစားဖို့
the
လိုတယ်
structures of the
ဒီ
advisory
သေးကကျွန်
regional
တော်တို့ကအဲ့ဒီဟာ
advisory
ကို
group,
သေ
we
သေးချာ
need
ချာ
to
မလေ့လာနိုင်
consider
ဘူး
this
ကျွန်
very
တော်တို့
carefully.
စ
If
ကိုင်း
we
ကျွန်
cannot
တော်တို့ဒီ
do
ကိုယ်
this
တိုင်
well,
ကိုယ်နိုင်ငံ
and
သွားပြီးတော့နည်းဟန့်လိုက်လို့ဖြစ်နေတယ်လို့ဘာလို့ဆို
it will be that you kind of like just make a deterrent to the revolution. We try to make it work, but then on the other hand, like it will become a deterrent, something like that. You need to think about this. So people who are leading the forum need to consider this very carefully and move forward. Another challenge is that
ဒီတိုင်းတိုင်ပင်ခံကောင်စီထဲမှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီလက်နက်
here in the regional advisory board, how are we going to include an armed group in there? This is also a huge challenge because in states this is different, kind of like very clear. Because
လက်နက်ကင်ရှိတဲ့နေရာမှာကျွန်တော်လူလောက်ဒါဆိုဒီလက်နက်ကင်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်နိုင်ငံရေးလုပ်ကြမှာလားပေါ့နော်ဒါမျိုးကျွန်
you
တော်
are going to do this, or we have, and therefore how are we going to do this? And since at the beginning we need to think about this, and the connection, I think we have lost it. The connection from the speaker has been interrupted.
Ladies and gentlemen, these excuses for the technical difficulty. Okay, our speaker is back. So let me summarize. It is important how to build a system and a structure for the region, but it is also important to think about how we can ensure representation of different actors and stakeholders, and that is another challenge for us. Thank you for sharing, because you have experience in the participating in the NUCC, and that's something, that experience could also be a way for you to help find the solution to address the challenges. Let me turn to So Winsui. Earlier, you mentioned a little about legitimacy. And you also said that the decision of the people must be included. These are very controversial issues, or you will have to think really hard about legitimacy. So, when the more we discuss about the legitimacy in this revolution, it also, divide a lot of people by saying, okay, who does represent whom, or who has legitimacy? And whenever we talk about legitimacy, that legitimacy is something inevitable. So we also need to also think about the mandate of the people and the will of the people. The voice of the people must also be included, and that is an important part about the legitimacy. On the other hand, there are also a lot of discussions and dialogues about who has a representation and who can represent the people. So sometimes it's hard to reach a decision. And in the end, we say it should be the people's decision. But in the revolution, will the people be able to make a decision? Or maybe will we postpone this until after the revolution is over, after the revolution has been achieved. So on these topics of legitimacy, representation, and the voice of the people, the decision of the people, what kind of decisions have you reached? So CRSH, the community representative Sagaing is not involved in the Sagaing Forum, so there could be a bit more open debate on the legitimacy, since it is a controversial topic and a lot of conditions around. How can you think you can find a way to address the issue of legitimacy and representation? Well, so from our side, legitimacy is important. We think legitimacy is important, and we don't have to argue, because legitimacy is important, representation is important in the revolution. In particular, the results of the 2020 general elections are important. The representatives who were elected from the results of the 2020 general elections are considered as important. We accept them because that is something our enemies do not have. That's the only thing we have. That's what the democratic actors have. That is our biggest weapon. This legitimacy, this electoral legitimacy, we accept it. That's it. However, we also, that why we are holding on to this important weapon of that representativeness, that it should be a weapon against the military hunter, that it should not be used. It should not be used. It should not be used in other ways. If we are going to interpret representation in different ways, that could undermine our unity. That could undermine our revolutionary momentum. That's my personal opinion. Secondly, Sagaing Forum. Sagaing Forum is a very big name, but actually it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue, it's a conversation, it's a roundtable where we sit down together and discuss. When we discuss with the local leaders from the community who came from the community themselves, they sit down together and they discuss. We talk about our expectation. We talk about that that way forward. This is in fact direct democracy. When we say democracy, that we cannot only talk about representative democracy, because when we say democracy can exercise different approaches, and that also reflect the will of the people, that reflect the voice of the people, that reflect the expectations of the people and the vision of the people. So we believe in democracy. We are revolutionaries. We are revolutionary fighters. We are political activists who believe in democracy, that we cannot ignore the will of the people and the voice of the people. So in the forum or the dialogue or the roundtable or the discussions, the voice of the people that come from the expectations and from the revolutionary forces and revolutionary fighter, and plus the representatives, the entities that we have from the 2020 general elections, plus is that we also have that Sagaing local ethnic groups, the indigenous community from Sagaing region. We all will need to bring together, we all need to work together to form a political body, and that's something not impossible. That's something we can achieve, and by establishing such a political body, that will also bring a lot of impact on the revolution too. So this is where we are going towards. This is where we are going from the Sagaing Forum, and that's why this is how also we'll also be approaching that the parliamentarians from the 2020 general elections. So we'll be talking with them, we'll be preparing them so that we can work together in the future. Thank you for your response. And we are also at a certain time into the discussion. So we also like to open questions open questions also to our participants too. So if you have any questions you want to ask all the Sagaing Forum and to our speakers, please feel free to use the raise hand function and ask your questions there. Or you can also use the Q&A or the chat box to ask questions. So we have a question here that what about, is it possible that there could be a Upper Myanmar or a Nya state, combining Mugwe region, Sagaing region, and Mandalay region? I think has already partially answered, talk about that question, partially answered. Can you respond to this question? As I has said earlier, right now, Sagaing region, that so we organize the Sagaing Forum based on these current territories of Sagaing. That we also acknowledge that it is important to people from the upper part of the Sagaing region of that will need to join in as well. So right now we are that we have also acknowledged that although in Sagaing region the majority of the population are Burma, but we also have the indigenous communities, ethnic minorities who have lived for many years along the history as well. So during the transition period, we also will need to Sagaing, the lower part of the Sagaing region. There are questions, there are considerations like should the upper part of the Sagaing region, combine with the other units to form a new federal unit, or lower part of the Sagaing region should combine with other area. These are the questions, these are the considerations, and this is something all the revolutionary forces will need to discuss broadly before reaching a decision. There needs to have a broader discussion. And right now, we are carrying out the revolution based on the current situation, current territories. Thank you for the answer. I also see another question. So I think some of the questions, thank you for the questions, and that I also like to request that our participants and attendees to focus the questions on the Sagaing region, because some of the questions might be, some of the questions are asking about the details and specifics, and the Sagaing region, this is the first time they have organized this small Sagaing Forum is still in its inception period, so they will not be able to discuss the details of the organization, especially it will be a little too early for that, because there was a 2-day discussion and the Sagaing Forum was held. So I'm sure in the 2 days, they will not be able to cover all the topic as well. So please feel free to ask the questions. We'll also be please, if you can reframe your question, as in particular to Connie from Frontline Voices, we'll be able to pass it to our speaker. So Bama BG also has a question here that so Mama so is asking like, can, or do you think that the Sagaing Revolutionary Forces think that can will be able to negotiate with the Pakapa and Papa under the NUG, local defense forces, as well as on the People's Authority from the under the NUG? And if not, what will you do? Mechosu-san, do you want to answer this question? Yes, in the way forward, we will. I think if you ask us, will we be able to negotiate with the BAPA and BAKAPA, local defense forces, PDFs, as well as on the authorities under the NUG? I think it depends on the mechanism, because on the ground, these mechanisms are running strongly and operating strongly in some areas, and we are also seeing that these mechanisms are working strongly, and we are also engaging with them in some parts, in some ways as well. Like for example, for some of the issues, we engage with the energy mechanisms. I think based on the type of their job, then we will I think based on the type of the work that we have to do together, the question of negotiation will come. So that for the Sagaing Forum, based on the future activities, negotiation will depend because it will, I think, we'll be able to find a solution or find a way to work together. What if we cannot negotiate with the energy mechanisms? What do we do? If you ask us, thank you for asking this question. But based on the work that we have to do, based on the activity that will be carried out, then we'll need to find a way to resolve that issue as well. In the areas where we need to negotiate with the energy mechanisms, then we'll definitely have to go through the negotiation process to reach a credible solution. Thank you for the answer. So politically speaking, it will be difficult, but through negotiation, you will be trying to find solutions to reach an outcome. Here, so we have questions from Igor. Is there someone from the Sagaing Forum organizing team who is responsible for communication with international actors, foreign media, and Spring Revolution support groups abroad? If yes, can you please share your name and some contact details? If I recall, relating to that question is that there was also a question I would like to ask. So following up on Igor's question, so that NUG also had issued statements that they welcome the Sagaing region, but NUG also said that it should not be without the interference from the external actors. So that also, raised some debate. What do you mean by external actors? Are we talking about external actor as in, external to Myanmar as an entity, or are we talking about the, external actors outside of Sagaing region? So I would like to ask you, Go Somense, if you can answer this question, that when we say external, are we talking about the, out there international, or are we talking about the other actors across Myanmar? I think it is also that kind of a, coordination and engagement also is important, because Sagaing area said that Sagaing is also very strong in the revolution. Sagaing also is quite different from other states and region of Myanmar. Sagaing also face a lot of oppression. You have also have a high number of IDPs. You are also going very Sagaing region also going very strongly with the resistance as well. So how do you think Sagaing region will build solidarity with other states and region? How will Sagaing remain strong in this in the Spring Revolution? And that's something all of us want to know. So may I request you to answer this question? Thank you. I'm answering this question not as a foreign spokesperson. So as a forum, if you ask the question to a foreign spokesperson, then as a spokesperson will have to answer according to the statement officially released by the forum. But I'll be here sharing at my own discretion or my own personal opinion. I'm wondering if this is only happening in Myanmar, because when it comes to politics, that in Myanmar will set a certain policy and then push everything into that policy, and that's not successful. That's never been successful, and we don't want to do that as well. We don't want the kind of politics. We don't want the kind of policy, and that's not where we are going. So we don't want to have a separate political the political stand and then going there. Sagaing region is Sagaing region going for the Sagaing state or the Anya state or the Aba Myanmar state or the Sagaing state? No, we don't have a particular approach, and to which political approach, and then where we are pushing everyone to go in the direction. No, Sagaing Forum, we are at a important turning point. It's like when you go into a village, and that there are like 4 different ways you can go to the village. We are right at the junction. We are at the important turning point. It can go anywhere. The same for the international relations too. What about the people from Sagaing? What do they want? Without us knowing clearly what people from Sagaing want, and I don't think we can engage deeply with any actors, external or otherwise. So that firstly, what we have to do is we need to have a clear picture, a clear understanding of what do people from Sagaing region want. And we are still in the exploring stage. We are still trying to find what do people want. Only when we know the people from Sagaing region, including the other community, what do they want in Sagaing region? What do we want? Then there will be the next step where we think about who do we engage with, which entity or which organizations to make that. Right now, we are facing many challenges. But these challenges, we believe these challenges can be overcome. While we while we are doing the revolution, there are organizations which has a very strong political position, political stance, and they are participating as well. But there are also entities which are not very much involved in the politics, but they simply are standing up against the military because they cannot take the oppression, because they cannot take the violence as well. We often ask, sometimes you can also ask us, when we invite them to the Sagaing Forum. Some people ask us, some organizations ask, if we join the Sagaing Forum, if we attend the Sagaing Forum, will you give us weapons? And we don't have an answer for that. We are organizing the Sagaing Forum. The Sagaing Forum is about exploring how does Sagaing move forward, and we need to have a clear understanding and a deep discussion within Sagaing region. And like that I don't blame the people for asking at this question. I don't blame the organization which occurs if we come attend the Sky Forum, well, we get weapons. No, we are closest to the people on the ground, and then those who are closest to the ground, those who are fighting the revolution on the ground, of course they will talk about their needs, they will talk about the weapons, but we need also to be mindful as well of the challenges, because because if we are doing so many of these online forums, then it's going to be like there will be gaps, and there will be gaps where will be people just meeting online. So this is the first step. We have taken the first step. Now we see where do we need to have a broader, deeper discussion. When these things have been discussed, and then we are very clear, everybody understood and see clearly why we are organizing this forum, and then we will be able to establish our political vision. Political vision is very important. When we have a clear political vision, then the second step, we'll be able to make decision, could we engage with inside or outside the country. But one thing we can say for certain is that this is the first time we're organizing the forum. The fact that we'll be able to organize the Sagai Forum is for the Sagai Native Revolutionary Organization as Sagai Native Organization, and this is a collective effort of all the entities from Sagai region. Even from the invitation, how do we invite how do we invite people? How do we invite organizations? Then how do we ensure that everybody has a equal right? That we ensure that organizations or people who are based 100% in Sagai. So we focus on the organizations which are based 100% in Sagai region. There are organizations, some of the revolution organizations, they have a branch in Sagai region. They only have a branch. If you only have a branch, if you only have a part of your organization in Sagai region, then they are invited as observer. So our participants are who are wholly based in Sagai region. We talk about the future of the Sagai, we talk about the political body of the Sagai. So other partners, other allies can give us recommendation, can be advice, but the decision will be made by the people of Sagai region. And that's the basis upon which we have convened our Sagai Forum. Thank you for the answer. That so what you have explained is that this is the first step where different revolutionary forces in the Sagai region are getting together and discussing. So I would like to give the second question to Khant. So we have a question from Taka Munyu, that so what the way forward for the Sagai, that so the since the Sagai region, the Sagai forum is based on the Federal Democracy Charter. So are there plans to amend the Federal Democracy Charter? Because in particular the part 2 of the Federal Democracy Charter has a lot of issues. So will you be amending that? So Federal Democracy Charter has been drafted and adopted by the people. In the part 2, that as to the problems, the other part 2, what we try to do, we will try to understand from that the Federal Democracy Charter part 2 from our perspective based on the discussions. So to amend the part 2 or the missing point or the gaps in the part 2, it will be the platform of the NUCC to amend the Federal Democracy Charter part 2. And we have lost him. Our speaker is having some technical difficulties, so please bear with us. It is that what we will do, that I think it is important for us to discuss and understand also that the issues or the concerns of the Federal Democracy Charter, and that it is also possible that we could also bring our concerns and our voice and that aspirations about the amendment of the Federal Democracy Charter as well. We have lost our speaker again, so let me jump to another panelist, because we also have other questions. Or we'll also like to remind our attendees that it might not be easy for us to address all your questions, and sometimes we'll be putting the questions together so that our speakers will be able to answer effectively. So here we are also seeing that another question from Kone, that a lot of questions are a little bit relevant to each other. So I would like to give the question to Macho Susan, that so I think the point is that so how will be the I think what I understand is that as a Sagaing Forum talk about the check and balance also, that how would this Sagaing Forum be, on the Sagaing Forum imagine managing the check and balance. It might be a little bit too early, so that what are there any initial discussions on that on the ensuring the check and balance between the different entities? Is there any discussion then? Yes, administration and military, how to ensure the balance. Let me read the question once again. So I think the question number 2, right? Question number 2 is that what will be the measures and the processes to ensure that power is not concentrated in either in the administrative or governance or the military units. Well, that this is something that we have discussed in the forum, but it's still in the initial stage as well. But we also need to go deeper into the discussion too. But this is not just about the forum, that not only in the forum, but I also like to share something we are seeing on the ground as well, that to ensuring that the powers are not over concentrated in one area, and there are measures we are undertaking on the ground, especially for the governance mechanism, that we have the NUG and People's Authority, People's Administration Body mechanism as well. So it is a public governance system the NUG is building as well, where they are ensuring that people from the ground are part of the administration system, and that the way they organize is that people from the local area and the revolutionary forces are working together to form a public governance system. In Sagaing region, in Monywa, there we have a public administrative bodies where you have the representative from the people, you have representatives, you also have different representatives working together to form the public governance. That's about the governance. When it comes to the military part, that how do we how do we do that as well? That military wise, we are not this is not the area we are experts of, but it also, how can we approach? And that if you ask us how we can approach it, that militarily, when it comes to military operations, and that I think it is important also for that it is important to ensure that the military respect the people. And we lost our speaker. Oh, okay. It is important also to go from the respect of the civilian authority and the people. So that will be the particular and specific approaches to the administration and the military. But how do we put them together, or how do we address the measures? We have specific approaches to the governor, we have specific approaches to the military operations. But I think in the future, something that we need to put them together. And that's not something I can answer alone, but it is something we'll need to work together collective to find a solution to.
So meeting it, but the chat him and meet her, she did him, let's see, the guy for him, the Yapa,
in the Sagaing Forum, how many civil society organizations are there? I do not know about this, but then, can you please only answer what you can answer? Right now, you talked about 173 organizations. So among these organizations, what about public administration? What about demonstration groups? And what about groups there? How many of them are taking which percentage? Can you please be able to elaborate on that? Yes. When we are talking about civil society organization earlier, we talked about the way that we extend the invitation and how people are there. Like it can be estimated as well. The first is like you have to be the group that are working on the revolution, and you have to be on the FDC approach, and then there are FDC weaknesses as well. Um, it is not like a Bible or Quran or something like that. So there are things that need to be amended as well. Like even in the constitutions level, there are all the constitutions that has to be amended from time to time. So there on the other side, we have accepted the FDC weaknesses, but then on the other side, whether we have be able to complete or be able to implement the FDC. So we are going to kind of like amend it from time to time. This is the reason why I am explaining to an question before. And there are also some of the implementation on the ground, and we will have to align it as much as we could, and the Sky Forum will follow with that, like which organization will come and coordinate and cooperate. So I think that this is like my answer to this. Thank you very much for the answers. So we have here, how are we going to campaign the people? And when we talked about the people, like the whole people who are living in Sagaing region, and how do we do that? And this is a question here. Can you answer this? Can you be able to? No voice heard so far. So Winston, would you like to take this question? And there's also another questions, and like in this forum, when is the next you are going to do it again? And then among the people, how are you going to explain for the people? How are you going to convince them about it? And like I said earlier, forum is from there might be from different we have to come to a meeting point. So we have seen this as well. And then in the future activities of the forum, way forward, like it is kind of like challenging to talk about it in detail. Right now is the forum is a revolutionary forum and the revolutionary period. Therefore, our timetable, our issues cannot be disclosed at this moment, because the security of those who are joining, the security of those who are part of it will be kind of like challenging as well. So hope that you will understand about this. And then roughly speaking, the forum way forward is politically a new thing. This is what we can say. And then when we are going to the federal democracy, we are walking from a new perspectives. It is not just only Myanmar, in ASEAN countries as well. So in ASEAN, there is like centralized political regime is there, and then decentralized issue is not considered. So if you Thailand, for the time being, young people uh, right now they have to kind of like responding it. So this is what we all are facing. So that this is something that like not centralization is the strength. Decentralization is also a strength, and then we want to explain. And there are also criticism on Sagaing region as well. So Sagaing region revolution is very powerful, but then like political will is very few, or lack of political will in the Sagaing region. So if you are holding onto arms, and then you will become another groups like subordinates, or you will become just rebels. So like we have heard about these figures, and therefore like this forum will determine whether this Sagaing region have lack of political will or how they are thinking about like democracy issues. This democracy will determine and will also give you the highlights on this. Thank you very much. Another question is that like Sakai Forum is being done as well in other region and states. People are discussing about this, and then we have a question here. We kind of like have been inspired by this as well. And then in order to do this, what are your suggestion? What are your opinion on if we have would like to do something like that? Metro Susan, can you please talk about this? Seems like the internet connection is out of order. Phyoe, Phyoe, are you there as well? It seems like they're not there. So Kusumi Sui, can you please also answer this one? Like if other states and regions are interested in it, and therefore what are the lessons learned and what are the inspiration and then you could give to them? So it seems like my brothers and sisters are out of the service area. Um, the reason why we are holding on to Sagaing territory, Khant also talked about it earlier, so I am going to talk about this. When we are calling it Sagaing Forum, I am from Monywa, Anya Forum, and then Anya State. I like it. I liked it. And Anya, I like Anya brand, but we need to be practical on this. Anya is like who will define Anya territory? Like if we are talking about this territory issues, then it will be a gap in our revolution. That's why we just hold on to Sagai and then we have come up to this as well. So this is not something that we will hold on to it. And then how many states and regions, federal units, or of how, and then like the people will determine on this, and then we cannot define on this. This is what the people will determine. In being drafted the constitution as well, then we will not be doing what they are doing. The constitution may not be able to drawn up by everybody, but then they will have like the constitution will be drafted in systematically. We all accept this process, and therefore, in the future, what we are sure is that Sagaing is going to be Sagaing state or Burma state. We do not know. We cannot say this, and then we cannot determine about this as well. What we can should be sure is we are going to a federal democracy. A federal democracy is a collection of states and regions. So right now, and at one time we will like everybody is going to choose a place. It could be as a guide state, and therefore the people needs to have what is the federalism. They need to understand, and then they need to be well convinced about what are the federal state. And people are not ready for a federal democracy, and then you are going there, and if you are doing this, then uh, it is like uh, we are not fair to the people if they do not understand about this. Right now, we have to be practical. We are holding on to Sagaing territory, and then Sagaing people, how do they want a federal state? How do they want to be, their state to be called? So this is like the knowledge sharing that we need to do to our people, and how people would like to have this federal state. They we will have to support the arrangements to the people in order to be able to go forward to what they are in need of. So we have heard about the feedback in Sakai Forum, Sakai Advisory, Magwe will become Magwe State, and then it will it is the same like it is the same like you are going the same way like 7 states, 7 regions. It is not about this, but then we are doing this practically in order to have a federal state for the people to be able to make kind of good decision that we will be supporting them, and other states and regions, other territories, uh, like we will whether we will be able to share our experiences. In my own opinion, I would like to share about this. And then right now we have like KFCC, and then the presentation, like KSCC presentation, we are listening to this, and um, and we have the advisory body, and before we do this, before we have these group discussions, we are doing the presentation in our country. It is happening right now, and we explain about this to the people. So we are also getting experiences from those who have experiences, and then our experiences will also be shared and be ready for this as well if you still need us. Thank you. After this round, then we are going to have the ending, and then if you have any questions, then you send the questions, and you can also, Macho Susan, I would like to ask you the questions that has earlier in the Sakai Forum. What is the federalism that the Sakai people wants to have? It is not kind of like confirmed, but then what is your is like what is your opinion on that? And then how are you going to explain the kind people about this forum, and how do we do the campaign about this? And do you also think that the people will kind of like accept this? So, Macho Susan, can you please answer about this? Who come with you? Can you?
ဟုတ်အဓိကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီဘယ်လို
Yes.
federal ပုံစံကိုသဘောကျတယ်ပေါ့နော်လောလောဆယ်
Which
federal
federal
လို့
system that we would like to have right now? The ethnic minorities, how the federal state is coming together, and then the military talks about it holding together. So young people, especially as like privately speaking, since the independence, we assume that it has never been a union then, and then we have the Billon agreement. We have made this agreement, but then so this is coming together federalism, and this is like the most kind of like relevant things. We need to go according to this, and then based on the ethnic minorities, if we are going there, and then are we going to go according to the state of um, like area geographically or ethnic cities, or which where we are going, why we are holding arms, and histories. We are studying this as well. And then what we can be sure is the ethnic federalism needs to be there as well, because we have so many years that the ethnic minorities are asking for this. And then as a Burmese people youth, I am into this as well. And then in the Nindai, except the Nindai and in other region, we will have to go according to the ethnicities, and then it will be good for us. And then are we going to have like 2 3 unit, like a federal unit, or like maybe like something other down there? So will it be good for all of us? This is like a concern that we have. And then it's just like Burmese state, and then the Burmese state is themselves like will be kind of like. So what is going to happen? And and
စုပေးလိုက်ရင်လည်းဒါလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့နည်းနည်းလေး
if
တော့
we
အခက်အခဲ
combine
ကြုံ
all
ရ
of
နိုင်တယ်
them
တချို့ဟာတွေ
together,
ဖတ်ရ
I
ခက်
think
တယ်
in
ဒီ
some
အဲ့ဒါလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့
instances
ကစိုးရိမ်မှု
quite
ပြောကြတော့ကျွန်
risky.
တော်တို့ကတော့ဒီနေ့ကြ
So
တော့ဒီခုနရှိကပြောသွားလို့ပဲကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီစကိုင်းဖိုရမ်ကကျွန်တော်တို့လမ်းစုံတစ်
and
ခု
then
မှာ
in
ရပ်
the
နေတယ်
Sagaing
ဒီ
Forum,
ညာဖြစ်နေ
and
တယ်
then
ဆို
we
တော့
are
ကျွန်တော်
in,
တို့ဒီ
we
ရက်ကွက်
might
တွေ
be
ပေါ့
in
အထင်နမိတ်အတိုင်းပဲ
Anya
လူအများ
also,
စုဒီ
and
ဖြစ်စေ
then
တယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့
it
ကျွန်တော်
could
တို့က
also
ဒီ
be
လက်ရှိ
like
နေတဲ့ဥစ္စာဒီဗမာ
kind of
တွေ
like
နေရာ
national
ကျန်
forum.
တဲ့ဒီတိုင်းရင်းသားတွေ
And
ပေါ့
it
ကျွန်
is
တော်တို့
not
နေရာ
just
ကျတယ်
only
ကျွန်တော်
Burmese
တို့ဘယ်လို
people
ဆက်
out
ပြီး
there,
ဆက်ပြီး
and
တော့
there
ရှေ့
are
ဆက်
also
သွားမလဲ
other.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ကြားထဲမှာ
So
ထပ်
how
ပြီး
are
ပြန်
we
လည်စဉ်း
going
စား
to
ရမှာဖြစ်
do?
တယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့
This is something that we need to
Okay
think
ဟုတ်
of
ကဲ့
it
ပါ
as
ကျေးဇူး
well.
ပါနော်
Thank you very
ဆို
much
တော့
for like answering, and
ဒီမှာ
then
ရှိရဆိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီစကားမှာချုပ်နိုင်
so
ပြီ
if you do
ဆို
not have
နောက်
anybody,
topic
then
အနေ
we
နဲ့
are
ဒီ
going
Sagaing
to
Forum နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီး
stop
ပြည်သူတွေကို
this
အသိပေးချင်
forum.
တာတွေ
And
ရှိတယ်
then,
ပြီးတော့
is there
ဒီတော်
anything
လှန်
that
ရေး
you
မှာ
would
ဆက်
like
ပြီး
the
တော့
people to
လူမျိုး
know
စုပါ
about
ဝင်
the
ပါဝင်
Sagaing
ဖို့
Forum?
ပြည်သူ
And
တွေ
then,
အတွက်
what do you
အဓိ
want
က
to
ဖြစ်ပါတယ်
tell
ဆိုစကား
other
ဆက်စ
ethnic
ပြီးတော့
minorities
ပြော
as
လို့
well?
ရ
So, can you please say something about it?
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီစကိုင်းဖိုရမ်
Yes.
မှာလည်းပြည်သူတွေပေါ့နော်
Like
ပတ်သက်
Sagaing,
လို့
where what is
ဆွေးနွေး
Sagaing
ချက်တွေလည်း
Forum
ရှိ
and
တယ်
where it is
ပုံ
going?
စုံတွေလည်း
The
ရှိနေပါပြီဗျာ
discussion is
ဆို
quite
တော့နောက်တ
exhaustive
ည်းလည်းကျွန်
right
တော်တို့ဒီ
now,
Sagaing Forum
and
မှာအကြံ
then
ပြု
in
တာ
the
တစ်ခုခုပေါ့နော်
future
နောက်
there
ကျွန်
may
တော်
be
တို့ဒီ
like
ရဲကဒီတော်လှန်ရေးအင်အားစုတွေ
suggestions,
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီဖိုရမ်ကိုနှိပ်စက်
recommendation,
တယ်
and
ဆို
for
တော့
the
ကိုယ်တိုင်
guide,
လည်းတ
if you
ယောက်အနေ
want
နဲ့
to be in
အကြံပေးဖို့
contact
စော
with
င့်ကြည့်
this,
ချင်တာရှိတ
then
ယ်
we
ကျွန်
have
တော်တို့
our
Sagaing Forum
Facebook
page ရှိပါတ
page,
ယ်
the
Facebook
Guide
message
Forum
တွေမှာတော့
page,
တိုက်ရိုက်ဆက်
and
သွယ်လို့
then
ရတယ်လို့ကျွန်
you
တော်ဒီ
can
Facebook
talk
message
to
တွေမှာ
us
တော့ထုတ်
through
ပြန်ထားတ
the
ယ်ဗျာ
face
အဲ့ဒါရှိပါတယ်
page messenger, and then I would like to
ဟုတ်ကဲ့
conclude
ကျေး
it
ဇူးပါ
from
တယ်
here.
ကိုခန့်ပြီဖြိုး
Thank you very much.
ကျွန်
Gokhan
တော်နောက်
Wipyo,
ဆုံး
do you
ပြော
want
ချင်
to
တဲ့
say
မိနစ်50
anything?
ပေါ့နော်
Lastly,
ဟုတ်ကဲ့
last but not least, do you want to say anything?
အဓိကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီတော်လှန်ရေးက
The main thing
တူ
is
လူထုရဲ့
that
တော်လှ
this
န်ရေးဖြစ်တယ်နော်ဒီ
revolution
တစည်းတစ်ဖွဲ့
is the
ဒီတစ်ဖွဲ့
people's
တစ်ယောက်တစ်ပါတီ
revolution.
အတွက်
It
ကျွန်
is
တော်တို့
not
တော်လှ
just
န်ရေးသ
one
ဘော
party,
ပေါ့
it
နော်
is
ကျွန်တော်တို့
not
တော်လှန်
just
ရေးဆိုတဲ့
one
ကျွန်တော်တို့
ethnic
လိုချင်တဲ့
cities.
ဒီ
And
လူ
then
ထုဖွဲ့စည်း
after
ချက်
this
ပေါ့နော်ဒီအနာတွေကကျွန်
revolution,
တော်တို့က
we will have
ရှေ့
a
ဆက်သွားနိုင်မယ်ပေါ့
new
နော်ဒီ
society.
မက်ဆီ
We
ပေါ့
need
နော်
to
အခုက
have
တည်းကကျွန်တော်
dreams
တို့က
for
တစ်ဖက်
this,
မှာ
and
တော်တော်လေး
then
တစ်ဖက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ကလိုချင်တဲ့ဟာ
the
တွေ
other
ကျွန်တော်ပြန်
side,
လည်ထား
we
ဖို့
are
လိုတယ်
doing the
ဒါပေမဲ့
revolution,
ကျွန်
and
တော်
on
တို့
the
ကတော့
other side, we have to be
ကျွန်
well
တော်တို့ဒီ
prepared and well
NUG အစိုးရ
equipped for
ဒီ
this.
အမျိုးသားညီညွတ်
And
ရေးအစိုးရပေါ့
therefore,
နော်
we
ဒီဟာတွေ
have
ပေါ်
the
မှာမူတည်ပြီး
NUG,
တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့
NUCC,
ကြည့်
and
ရမှာပေါ့
then
ကျွန်တော်တို့ကတော့ဒီ
we
အဲ့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ
cannot
ပြည်သူလူထု
just
ကတော့ကိုယ့်ကြံကြံ
deposit
မှာပဲ
our
ဝင်ပြီးဖို့ဆိုပြီး
future
ကျွန်
to
တော်ဒီ
them.
တော်လှန်ရေး
It is
process ထဲမှာ
therefore the
ကိုယ့်ရဲ့
people
လုပ်ကံတဲ့ဟာ
has
တွေကို
to
ထက်ထဲဝင်ပြီး
kind
တော့
of
ပါ
like
ဝင်ပေး
create
ဖို့
their
အတွက်
own
ကျွန်
dreams,
တော်တို့
and
ကတော့
they need to be
ပြောချင်တာ
part
ပေါ့နော်
of
ကိုယ်ဘယ်
this
လိုလူ့ဖွဲ့စည်းပုံ
effort
လို
as
ချင်လဲ
well.
ဘယ်လိုပုံစံ
How,
လိုချ
what
င်လဲဆိုတဲ့
kind
ဟာကျွန်
of
တော်တို့ကတော့
society do
အဲ့
you
လိုမျိုး
want?
ပြောချင်
What
တယ်ပေါ့နော်
kind
နောက်
of
တစ်ခုကကျတော့ကျွန်တော်
society
တို့က
and
ဒီ
do you
Sagaing Forum
want
က
to
ပေါ့
have?
နော်ဒီ
So
ပြည်သူလူထုကဒီ
whether in
Sagaing
this
Forum ပေါ်
Sagaing
မှာစိတ်
Forum,
ဝင်စားပြီးတော့
like
ဒီ
people, if
ဆွေး
people
နွေး
are
ဆွေးနွေး
interested
တာတွေ
in,
ပြည်သူလူထု
and
ရဲ့
then
ဆွေးနွေးချက်တွေကိုဒီ
um,
သက်ဆိုင်တဲ့ဖွဲ့စည်းကနေ
like,
တဆင့်ပြောဆိုတာတွေဒါမျိုးတွေကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ကပို့ပြီး
so
တော့သဘောကျတယ်ပေါ့နော်
I
နောက်တစ်ခု
think
က
that
ကျွန်
like
တော်
this
တို့
is
ဒီ
like we are in
forum က
favor
ပေါ့
of
နော်ကျွန်တော်
this
တည်ထောင်ခဲ့တာ
about like
ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲ
discussion.
ဆိုတော့ကျွန်
So
တော်တို့ကဒီ
personally
ပြည်ထောင်စုပြန်လည်ထူ
speaking,
ထောင်တဲ့နိုင်ငံရေးပေါ့
we
နော်ဒီ
are
ဒီမိုကရေ
at the
စီ
same
အမျိုးသား
time
တွေပေါ့နော်
we
အဲ့ဒါ
are
ဘာဖြစ်လဲ
going
ဆို
to
တော့
this
ဒီ
federal
ဒေသ
state
နာအ
and
ဆင့်မှာဆိုရင်
democracy
ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဒီ
practices
ရပ်ရေး
in
တော်လှန်
this
ရေးပေါ့နော်ဒီ
regionally,
စစချင်း
like
ကနေပြီးတော့
in
ကျွန်တော်
like
တို့ဒီလူ
your
ထုဘက်က
village
ဒီ
issues,
စစ်
your
တပ်ပြန်ရောက်
community
တာတွေရှိရမယ်
issues,
ကျွန်တော်
like
ဒီလူထုခေါ်
people
တဲ့စည်းဝေးပွဲ
kind
တွေ
of
ရှိ
like do the
တည်ဆဲတော်လှန်
election,
ရေးကိစ္စတွေ
gather
ဆုံးဖြတ်ရ
here
တာတွေဒါမျိုး
and
တွေကျွန်
make
တော်တို့ဒီတစ်
decisions.
ဖက်မှာကျတော့
So
ဒီ NUG ရဲ့ရန်
and
ကို
on
ထိ
the
န်းချုပ်နို
other
င်တဲ့
hand,
ပုံ
like
စံမျိုးတွေဖြစ်သလိုဒါပို
steering the
ပြီးတော့အားကော
NUG
င်းတဲ့ပေါ့နော်ဒီတော်လှန်ရေး
mechanisms,
ကို
and
ဒီ
then
ပုံ
it
စံ
can
ကျွန်တော်တို့
also
က
be
ဒါကျင့်သုံးဖို့
strengthening
လို
the
တယ်လို့ကျွန်တော်
revolution
မြင်
as
တယ်
well.
ဒီ
We
ကျွန်တော်
are
တို့ကတော့ဒီလူ
expecting
ငယ်တွေကတော့
this,
ဒီပြည်
and
သူနဲ့အတူ
um,
စည်းရုံးရ
the
င်းနဲ့
young
ပြည်သူနဲ့အတူ
people
စကားပြော
will
ရင်း
be
နဲ့ကျွန်တော်
part
တို့လူ
of
ထု
the
ကဘယ်
people,
လိုလူ့
talk
ဖွဲ့
to
စ
the
ည်းဖို့
people,
အိမ်မက်မ
and
က်နဲ့
then
ကိုယ့်
what
ဟာကိုယ်
kind
က
of
စိတ်ဝင်စားစွာနဲ့ပြော
society
ဆို
the
တိုက်တွန်း
people
ပြီး
will
လုပ်မှ
dream
ရမယ်
about,
ဒီ
we
ပြည်သူ
will push forward and the in this revolution processes and working together with the revolution organization, or we are not only deposit our dreams or ourselves into those politicians but then work on our own as well. Thank you. I think Chosu San has left. What I would like to say is that in Sagaing there are a lot of online or other challenges as well. So through this you are doing it, and therefore we need to do the question, and we have to have a solution for that. It's not just a guy, and then how are we going to do about this? And then with different issues, we need to look for answers. And so we are expecting this well, and then we will close this dialogues for now. Thank you.